It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. As you can see behind me, I'm smiling and I'm looking good because God woke me up this morning. He gave me another opportunity to live and to be able to do his will. Well, I got with me some people that are doing the will and making a difference. But we're gonna go one at a time and let them say their piece. We're gonna mix them in. We're gonna have some fun because at the Logan Power Show, we're here to empower and be the voice for the people. Well, first up, without further ado, she is a serial entrepreneur. I know I'm excited to know more about her. I know you two as well. She is the one and only Mrs. Kimmy Browne. How you doing, Mel?
I am wonderful, Mr. Logan. How are you?
Oh, great. Glad to have you here in the Logan Power Show. We are just honored and privileged for you to be here. So let's talk about you. You're an entrepreneur. Tell us, what you got going on, because it sounds like you got something, I would say, inspiring to lighten our eyes. The floor is yours.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hello, family. Hello, everybody. How are you? My name is Coach Kimmy B. Browne, and I am your Queen of ShePower. I am your self-worth coach, and I am the worth specialist. And what I do is empower everyone. I empower ladies as well as with teens, and I empower them to become bold, fierce, confident, and free in their lives, regardless to what they've been through. So I'm the one that's here to build a nation full of positive, confident, empowered women to let them know that they have the power within themselves to do exactly what they want to do. And I'm able to do that job because I myself made it through that journey, and I'm here to uplift the next one to pull them up as well. And I am a serial entrepreneur. As you said, I am a business owner of 6 different businesses, and they all are around children and around women. I do serve, however, a few men, but the majority of them are women. And I began my trail of the different businesses. I won't call each business specific, but I began my trail of the different businesses as far as the coaching, childcare, the empowerment, my organizations, due to my own testimony. We all have a testimony. We all have been there. We all have a story. Every one of our story is a little different. However, what I'm doing is I'm trying to teach other people to take their story, what happened to them, and I'm helping them to turn that around and use that for their good. I am a product of child molestation by a sibling. I'm a product of domestic abuse. I have had a lot of ups and downs, bullying. I have gone through it all. So what I did was for 30 years, I allowed what I went through to control and take my power. Once I realized my power and made it through each one of the trials that I have gone through, I had to sit down and God spoke to me and let me know, Kimberly, the reason that you went through it was for you to take that and let that be a testimony to take it to other people so they can get through it. So once I got that message, I just turned everything around, and then I just started gathering. I don't care who it is, whoever's willing to listen, whoever was ready to make a move. I started building a nation full of empowering women. So that is my goal, and that's exactly what I do. I want to uplift and empower everyone.
Absolutely.
Because until you know your own worth, no one else can determine your value. You just have to know it. You just have to know it. So I'm here to help people to get them motivated and push them in the right direction.
Absolutely. You want to push them in the right direction. Women are life givers, and we know that women have paved the way to make this world great. And you are making it great because remember, you are the founder of the Self-Worth Connection that helps women build worth beyond the abuse, as well as the founder of a nonprofit, Kids for Greatness, Inc., that supplies the basic needs to unprivileged children. So you have two parts that not only are you empowering women, but you're trying to help those ones that are sort of unprivileged, doesn't have the opportunities. So That's a lot of hats that you're holding. Plus, like you mentioned, your
It
other
is.
four businesses that you do currently,
Mhm.
that you are in charge of: entrepreneur of the daycare, the cleaning services, the children consulting and nanny services, the baby shower boutique, travel company, marketing group. So definitely, multiple streams of income. The facets of entrepreneurship and how to take advantage of it. So 2021 is sort of like a eye opening year is what, and what I mean by
Absolutely.
that is that people are now, majority of people are more comfortable working at home. A lot of folks are
Mhm.
willing to launch out to the deep, and a lot of folks are not willing to say I'm gonna work the regular 9 to 5. Since you have sort of have like a pioneer type of mentality when it comes to entrepreneurship, hey, I'm gonna launch out, I'm gonna do multiple things. What are some key facets or some key strategies that someone should learn to say, hey, I want to start a business, I want to be empowered, like you mentioned, and then we're speaking to the ladies because that's what your expertise is in. What are some strategies
Mhm.
that would help them be successful? Because 2021 is different than you say 10 years ago. You want to start an entrepreneur. You want to be an entrepreneur 10 years ago, but you had a successful track record. So what are some things that people strategies should look out for at this current time?
Absolutely. Listen, the first thing that we all need to start with, the first thought that they need to have, we need to have the mindset. The mindset is number one. We have to have that on the correct level in order for us to push through to take care of the things that we want to take care of. With that mindset, you have to have the skin in the game for this because getting into business 2021 was a year for us all. You understand? It was a year for us all, including me. Just because you're there, that doesn't mean that you're going to always stay there. There's going to be some ups and there's going to be some downs. However, you have to be strong enough to work your way through each one of them. So I would say from the beginning, get your mindset focused. You have to get focused on exactly what it is you want to do, who you are, and what you can accomplish. You have to tell yourself, no matter what's going on, no matter what you're going through, what the ultimate goal is, and you're going to achieve it by any means necessary. That's what you're going to do. That would be the second thing that I say. The third thing I would say is get yourself a plan. I didn't just walk out here and say, oh, today I'm going to start this, today I'm going to start that. You have to have a plan. Make it make sense. So if you want to start a business, make sure that this is something, when you get into this wanting to find your way, make sure it's something that really speaks volumes to you, something that really motivates you, get you going. Because there's no sense in trying to start a business that means nothing to you. You don't really want to do it. You're just thinking about the finances. That's not a reason to start a business. It has to be something that you're passionate about. All of my businesses that I have, I'm passionate about each one of them, whether it's with the children, whether it's with the women, whether it's being an entrepreneur with even the cleaning business. That started off from childcare. The nanny business started off from childcare because I wanted kids to be comfortable. I wanted them to be clean. I wanted them to be fed. I wanted them to have the basic things that they need. That's where the kids organization came into. So every business that I have, there's a reason and a testimony behind it because I'm so passionate. So God said, this is the gift that I'm giving you. You go out here, you turn things around. Whether you have 10 or whether you have thousands, it doesn't matter. Have the heart of giving, and then everything will come together. You just have to do the mindset, have the skin in the game, have the plan, make sure it's something that you're passionate about, and move forward. Period.
Period is right. And about the person of the talents. The Bible talks about the person that had talents, and the one that had five, and the one they had two, and the one that had one. The one that with talents of five and two took advantage of it, and they doubled. So the thing about it is,
Mhm.
we want to use the talents that it's been given, and we want to make sure that's moving forward. Well, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen, I want you all to stay tuned to Logan Power Show. We'll be right back of a quick commercial break. We're going to bring on our next guest, and then we're going to keep Miss Kimmy Browne still on, but I want you all to be tuned for our next guest. I'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Math whiz. This is what I do. Learning about decimals, fractions and integers. How about you? Adding, subtracting, multiply, maybe even dividing. Even learning about place values and angles, sliding by sliding. Learning about expressions and equations, ratios and proportions too. Math whiz. This is what I do. Learning about classifying angles. How about you? Subtracting and combining numbers and variables make me blue. Math whiz. This is what I do.
Hey, we're back live here at the Logan Power Show. As you can see, just saw Miss Kimmy Browne. She was talking about herself as an entrepreneur, 6 businesses. She's flourishing. She talked about some things that we need to talk about, strategies, things you need to take down, jot down, write that information down. So please, again, the Logan Power Show, we're here to empower you, but she's here to empower you as well. So definitely you want to follow her. She'll be back on to give some words of inspiration at the end. But I want you to get this name in your head, Miss Kimmy Browne. Well, our next guest here, the Logan Power Show, I want to take another honor as well. Her book is on Amazon. It's called Silent No More, Healing from Workplace Bullying. She is a very well-renowned author, and she's from the land down under. They say, hey, mate, you got to understand how powerful this woman of God is. She's the one and only Miss Elizabeth Gray. How you doing, ma'am?
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Logan, for having me on.
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
such a privilege to be here.
Yes, ma'am. We want to give you the floor. We want to talk about your book. I know that Silent No More, Healing from Workplace Bullying, something that you came out with. I know it's sometimes when you're going through stuff and you've been through challenges, it's not always good to put it down, because once you write it out, you can't take it back. So what made you decide I want to give the insight of what's going on in the workplace?
Because I've gone through a number of bullying experiences, and I just had to work out why I was being bullied as well, and what was it about me and what was it about the bully. So out of all that experience that I know God took me through and out of that workplace for a reason, so I can see the silver linings. For me, one of it was I was a giver, and I gived and gived, and I wasn't able to receive. I didn't have boundaries. I'd grown up with a lot of, verbal abuse. So I thought people being nasty to me was normal part of life. And you just didn't learn to stand up for myself. And that was one of my experiences out of it. The other thing for me is why did I keep getting the bullying experiences? And I had to learn that lesson. And I was attracting possibly people with narcissistic personality disorder, which made me an easy target because I'm very forgiving. You get to be a people pleaser. You're loyal. So you're attracting these people in because you don't know your self-worth. And a lot of the bullying is put fear and intimidation in you, and you're too scared to speak up. And that was a bit why I called my book Silent No More, because I had enough of being silent. And I think if anyone who's worked in like a normal workplace, usually if there's bullying, you just resign, get another job. Nothing's said in that workplace. You take what you've had, gone into a new workplace, and you put it up with it again and again. And it's just not talked about. And quite often the victims are blamed, and no one really looks at the perpetrator and what they've done and what their behaviour. It's so easy to blame the victim. So I really wanted to people to get to know, to understand themselves and to understand the situation they've been in and what bullies want from them. So the big one for me was understanding that bullies wanted to control me through aggression, and they also wanted me to look myself through their eyes. So if they thought I was bad or useless, they wanted me to think that. And when I learnt that, just was so life-orienting, and I go, oh, that's what they want from me. But I don't have to go along with them. And I like what Miss Browne said about, knowing your self-worth. And it is. And it's getting out of yourself of those situations. And I wrote the book because I think workplaces should be win-win. It shouldn't be the employer win and the employee loses. It's got to be win-win and a cooperation. And I just want to open up the discussion about it, and let's have no more silence around it.
Absolutely. You want to be able to have a place where you feel comfortable. You want to have a place to where the person can show your worth and to show your skill set, to where you feel that you can show the brightness and the love that you've been given. Now, you mentioned workplace, not just physical abuse, but verbal abuse. I know a lot of times if this is a time like no tomorrow since the pandemic of 2020 started in last year, where people who are having psychological issues, things of that, of those problems, those challenges, just from the pandemic alone. And now you see it's even more prevalent that the workplace is sort of becoming sort of a chaos where not a lot of healing is taking place. Now, when we think about workplace bullying and things of those stressors that cause some of the most horrific outcomes for you, I know you've experienced it. When did you finally realize that your silence was sort of hurting you instead of helping you? When did you realize that, I can't be silent no more? I have to acknowledge that I got an issue, that's someone's attacking me, but I gotta ask for help.
Yeah, because I think it got to, I was living a life where I wasn't happy at, and I just accepting that. And I'm thinking, well, no, I want a different life from this. Why should I have got it in my mind that was normal for me? And to me, I didn't want that normal anymore. I wanted something different. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be happy. And I think we do that trade-off too much in the workplace for income. And I liked where Ms. Browne talked about, don't start a business for money, do it because it's something you love and care about. And that's what we've got to do. But I think we've all been taught to have this trade-off that we can't have a life that we love, or we can't have a life that we feel is good for us, and we just have to accept what's handed out to us. No, we don't. We've got to give ourselves that power back and go, enough. And like for me, what really happened with the bullying is the fear intimidation is horrendous, where they intimidate you into silence. And then if you do speak up, everything is often reframed, or what you said is minimalized or trivialized as, oh, you're too sensitive. And never is the real issue addressed. And the other things I found with bullies in workplace, there's always a trail. They've done it before you, they'll do it after you. There's always a trail, and no one does enough investigation. It's let's just put it under the carpet and move on. And that's really sad, because the silence does hurt us inside, physically and mentally as well.
Absolutely. And, Title VII, United States, definitely does protect against sexual harassment, things that we have and amendments that we have in place to protect us. I don't know all the rules that would say in Australia as well when it comes to amendments and rights, and things of that, that nature. And a lot of times people think, well, the United States not all laws apply across the nation. There's not things where you can say, hey, I can file for Civil Rights Act and of 1964, and I'm gonna file Title IX here in Australia, or I'm gonna file it somewhere in South Africa, or whatever I want to put it at. I can't just say I'm gonna do it Kenya or different places. I'm gonna take my same rights because we know, just doing some statistics, in 2020, they say about 20% of bullying happened in the United States. 70% of the perpetrators were considered to be males, some of them 60% females, depending on the circumstance of people who were being attacked. 70% of the perpetrators were males. 60% in the United States were the victims were females. 40% were males being bullied. This is not physically, but verbally. But for yourself, you mentioned there wasn't a lot of help. So, and I know that's kind of hard when you're saying you're in a workplace and no one addresses the triggers. What are some things, I guess, some triggers that we should be looking for when it comes to a victim? Kind of the perpetrator can portray, wolf in sheep's clothing. That's easy. But what are some things that you can say from personal experience that we should be able to look and see the triggers that are being that a person who's being bullied, what's going on with them from personal experience?
Okay, quite often they have anxiety, and it quite often can lead into a high amount of sick leave. They get worried about their work, they're worried about conversations with the boss. But one thing I'd like to say to the victims is there's red flags. And for me, one of them was when I met a particular person for the first time, I knew it was going to be a problem and I should have got out then. And I think we've got to take note of when our body or something says no, just to get out of the situation, because too often we let our logic overrule and go, it'll be all right. And it seldom is. And I think for those who deals with this type of people, it's not that you have a conversation in and you get it resolved. It's usually very unresolvable. So mine would be identify the situation early and get out.
Well, you heard it first live here at the Logan Power Show. Silence is not always the way. Even if you look in biblical principles, you got to pray. There's no such thing as a silent prayer. You got to be able to speak it and talk it. You know, I've always said this: if you're hurt and you say "ow," the nurse or the doctor will come rushing. If you silent and you hurt, and they can't just determine, because a silent mouth, you always hear like, silent mouth, you don't get fed. If you say you're hungry, you're gonna be able to eat. So for those that are watching, again, silent no more, healing from workplace bullying, Miss Elizabeth Gray, live at the Logan Power Show. We're going to definitely let her give her final thoughts and things that we need to be able to look out for and how to heal, because we want people to heal, male and female. Our children, school systems, there's bullying, there's cyber bullying, there's physical bullying, all kind of things. And we want to make sure that we are basically addressing these issues. But workplace bullying is something that has not stopped. We have people that are trying to be head honchos and try to use their brute force sometimes, or just their tone or their authority to make a person feel less beneath themselves. So let's make a difference. But what I do, again, I want you to keep it locked here at the Logan Power Show. We'll be right back at this quick commercial break, because we're going to have one more guest and we're keeping it going. So keep it locked. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan. So you had two ladies double up back to back, gave you some empowerment. One, you had the empowerment lady herself, the ShePower, the actual superwoman, Mrs. Kimberly Browne. She talked about her entrepreneurship, talked about how she impacted ladies, also the young people as well. She wants to get the unprivileged back on track so you can be privileged and know God has a plan for you. And then also you had the one and only first time at the Logan Power Show from the land down under, Miss Elizabeth Gray. She was talking about her book, Silent No More, Healing from the Workplace. She gave us some nuggets that, hey, people who are silent, leaving the work, extra time, you need to take a look at those triggers. She said she didn't want to become a victim anymore. She wanted to become an advocate and speak to those who are the voiceless. And so she spoke out. I know her book is something you want to get right now on Amazon and purchase that today. Well, I'm excited again. This is our last guest here in the Logan Power Show. But again, the Bible says the last will be the last will be first, the first will be last. He is a truth coach. He's the one and only, a good friend of the Logan Power Show, Mr. Randy Howell Jr. How you doing, sir? Let me get you together.
There we go. How you doing, Brother Logan?
Hey, doing great. How about yourself, sir?
Everything's beautiful around here.
Well, I'm glad to have you here in the Logan Power Show and blessing us here and giving us some insight. So we want you to take this time to tell us a little about yourself as a truth coach, because I know a lot of times as a truth coach, that's not people don't know all the entails of what that all is about. So tell us, what is a truth coach? What do you do, and how can people get connected with you?
All right. Well, actually, I started off as a life coach back in 2004. Me and my wife had opened up a beauty salon, and of course, everybody knows a beauty salon that's like your place of therapy. That's like your place of therapy. So, but I was like I wasn't a hairstylist or anything. I was just the guy that did all the handiwork, answered the phone and things like that, because I was helping my wife with her dream. But the women always used to come and talk to me. And it was in particular, one particular lady that we used to always have these intense talks. And one day she messaged me in the inbox. She's like, all those talks really changed my life. And my wife, she was like, babe, I think you might have something here. I was like, what is that I got? She said, dude, I believe you're a life coach. I was like, okay. So, I started tackling it. I got my certification, became a master life coach. But the more and more I got into it, I realized that it really wasn't about life. People can't live a full life if you're not living in your truth. And it reflected upon myself because I was going through, I came up in a weird background per se. I grew up in kind of like a religious exile type situation where I kind of was boxed in, and the religion that I was in, it really didn't want me to see out. It only wanted me to see what they were teaching on the inside. But that's not the God that I was looking at that was telling me to do. He was telling me that it's a big world out there, there's a lot of people out there, and you're not supposed to just continue to help the person standing beside you. You need to help the next person and the next person and the next person. So I said, you know what? I gotta live in my truth. And my truth is I gotta understand that I might have to stand alone to be great if those around me can't understand the journey that I have to be on. So that's where it started. It started with Randy. It started with Randy being strong enough to know that the decisions I make just might hurt me in a way where I might have to lose that are closest to me. But I was blessed with a wife and kids that took up that space and support me unconditionally. She's my best friend. We've been working together for almost 20 years. I can't get enough of her. I have this little thing that I try to leave the house and I tried not to call her. And then I call her and I say, I tried not to, but I just couldn't help it. I just need to hear your voice again. That's what you need. But I didn't have that when I was living in my depressive state, when I was living in my anxiety, when I was having those suicidal thoughts. I remember those days of riding on the mountain and thinking about driving off the side because I felt like I would make the world a better place if I wasn't here. But in actuality, I make the world a better place by showing them how to live in that truth. I like for people to go back to their story. But when you go to your story, don't go to your story trying to make everybody good people. Tell the story the way it is. Be real with your story. If you're a bad guy in the story, be the bad guy. If they're the bad guys, be the bad guy. Because we need to come up with a solution. Because you got to be the best version of yourself at the end of this story. So we're going to do that story. We're going to find those things we need to change. We're going to start implementing those things, and we're going to bounce back and forth. We're going to go back through the hurt. We're going to go back through the troubles. We're going to hit the depressive states. We're going to find out why you're depressed. We're going to find out where that anxiety is coming from. And we're going to tackle it head on because we need to manifest this change to the world so that when we manifest it, we don't have to talk about it anymore. They're going to see the different person. And that what I'm talking about is the Sims approach. This is my method that I have copyrighted, and it's what my practice is based upon. It's about the story, implementation, manifestation, and show and tell. And I'm blessed to have two wonderful coaches up under me that are learning the methods, and we're helping people each and every day. And I tell you, it's my passion. It's my life's mission. It's my purpose. And I can't thank God enough for putting me in the position that He's put me in to help people one person at a time, creating a domino effect to change the world each and every day.
Absolutely. Something that I would echo what you're saying. In John chapter 8, verse 32, it says, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And a lot of people don't understand how powerful that is. If you know that you are not great at this moment, then when someone talks about you not being great, then you're okay with it because you say, I'm getting better. See, a lot of times society will tell us that, this is a picture or emblem of what you want to create. Like you mentioned, your wife is, see, a lot of people will say, well, he's being overbearing because he wants to call his wife in here. Well, there's something that you say that death and life in the power of the tongue, and they love to eat the fruit thereof. That's Proverbs 18:21. So you say, I want to hear your voice one more time, because let's be honest, if you built a relationship that's on a daily basis, then what happens is when her time comes, which is a long time from now, I'm not saying today or tomorrow, you've already built that. You're not crying at the funeral because I've spent so much time with her. I can build those memories. I don't have to wait until the afternoon to have that conversation. We've had that conversation throughout the day. It's not a time we can say, you know, if it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, it's like prayer. If God is important in your life, if you only spend 2 seconds with him for the entire 24 hours, there's a problem, because if you say he is the head of your life, then you have to give him more time. So that's why we have to understand that the truth is something that people don't want to have, because when you have the truth will set you free. It's like this. Remember, keep in mind, light and darkness cannot coexist in the same place. Something's going to either override the other. So understand this. If it's saying that if something's in the dark, it will come to the light, understand it will. If there is a snake in the mist, the light will expose it when the sun does rise. If there is something that's not there, that's not supposed to be there, over time it will be exposed. And that's the truth. So, question that I have for you, since you have this sort of aura and this I would say strategic approach of how people should be living their life, what are like the first steps or a couple steps if someone's saying, I'm coming to you, say, hey, you know, Mr. Howell, my name is Calvin. I put myself on the shop block for some of us who's watching right now, because I don't want anyone to think I'm talking about you. And my name is Calvin. I'm a young male. I'm married. I've been married for some time, but I don't like me at moments because I'm not where I want to be. And I'm not saying I'm ungrateful, but I'm not where I really want to be, that I can tell somebody that I feel comfortable. Like, you know what? I know I can do more. How would you speak to those people that have that sense of, you know what? I know there's something else I should be doing. I'm doing some things, or I'm there, but I'm not there where, like, you know, hey, I fulfilled it. Speak to that person you're talking to now.
Well, you know, I look at everything as a journey, and when you're on that journey, you know, you can have two paths. You can have that clear path that someone has already mowed it down and made it easy for you, and you can't see the obstacles. And this path might be long. This path could be a 5-mile journey, but then there's this path to the other side that it may be a little woody, and it may have a creek, and it may have a possibility of some animals or things in the nature, but it's only a mile journey. Which one have you taken? See, I'm going to ask you, are you on that open road? Because you are actually putting yourself in a fearful mind state because of something that you don't want to take notice of, and because it was moved out of your way to protect you per se, but it's not protecting you, it's protecting somebody else. What is it when you came to your crossroads that made you choose the direction that you went in? See, it's the hard questions that you have to answer. What is it that you heard that said you might not be good enough to do that? What did you hear to say that that's not for you? You sure you want to be the first one? You're not going to make it. See, these are the subconscious things that you hear in your head. We have to tackle those subconscious things head on, and then ask ourselves, is that really what I want to look at? Is that really what I want to adhere to? Or do I want to say, you know what, I am worth it. I'm worth the failure because I can try again. But if I don't fail, I never tried. Now let's go. That's how we start. You got to be, it's not about motivation. It's about showing a person that the decision that you're in right now was your decision. Now let's make it up.
Wow. That's, he's speaking the truth. And to be a more of a illustration, if I were to tell someone on an open road, and let's make it kind of fun. If I told you this is where you start, and I want you to walk 3 miles to your destiny place, that's not a foresight you can see from looking.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's 5,000 plus feet to 1 mile. So you're adding 15,000 that you cannot see because it's too far for the eyes to see. When the Bible talks about, I can speak to this mountain will be removed and cast into the sea. That is an analogy that people cannot fathom. How can I speak to a mountain and tell the mountain to move when the mountain is bigger and almost 1,000 times bigger than me? How can I tell that mountain to get out my way? It is not physically possible, but there is a way of that happening. There are mountains that get moved through earthquakes. There are mountains that get swallowed up by rivers. Remember, keep in mind, certain mountains can be overshadowed with hurricanes, earthquakes. Some mountains can be moved out the way. You'd be amazed what's in a mountain. There could be a cave that gets you to the other side that can do a shortcut. Sometimes a mountain could be some of the things where there's an easy road and it looks real easy, but I promise you, that easy road got a mudslide and you're going to fall and die. But there's that other rough road that you just mentioned, that there's rocks. Your feet may be hurting, but you got to prepare yourself. You got to tie them shoes tight. You got to lace them in the back. You may have to go through rain, sleet, or snow to get there, but you'll take it more seriously because you know why? The rough road is gonna make you be on my P's and my Q's. If it's too easy, I'm gonna take it for granted and I don't see the slip up. But if I see the rocks and I see what's out there and I hear the snakes and I hear the ants and I hear the spiders and I hear the wolves and I hear the mountains and I hear the lions and I hear the wind, then I gotta say to myself, every step is a faith step to get me over. So I hope that everyone who's watching us right now, we're not preaching, we're just having some fun. Because he told he's a truth coach. And the problem is that a lot of us say we life coaches, but to be a life coach, that means you got to be able to combat death. And are you willing to go the rounds to stop death? Because a life coach is going to prepare you to be able to combat death. If they're a life coach, that means they know what both sides of the table. They know what the casket looks like, and they know when you're walking outside the casket. If you say you're a life coach, because that's what they can be careful of these positions. When you say you're a life coach, then that means you put that person's life in your hands. And if whatever you say, if it is game changing, that can give them 20 years in their life. If it's not, you can reduce their life by 10 years, depending on what you say. And like you mentioned, failure is something that we do not like hearing. And if you learned in education, it's all right to fail, then some people won't get stressed out about tests. Our kids today will not get stressed out if you said, okay, well, if my best day was not today, I got tomorrow. But if we say that the test today is your entire lifespan, then you pretty much have just told that student that is it. Because this one test determined if you will live today or tomorrow. But people don't understand, some of your greatest successors have probably failed 1,000 times before they got through the mountain. Well, before we get into our other two guests to come on and get their final segments, one thing you mentioned, a truth coach, something that people got to know the difference. You explain the difference to it. What is like a success story or something you do remember that you said something to them and the epiphany hit or something changed or it made you a better man based off a conversation you had? Not giving the person's name, no confidentiality, but like an experience from there.
Man, well, one of man, it's actually one of my best friends now. So it's amazing. But I had a young lady that she literally worked as a nurse, her 12-hour shift and the other 12 hours of the day. She went into her house, all her blinds closed, and she would never leave. Every day. For years. Beautiful spirit, but did not want the world to see it. But she was afraid to disappoint her parents if she made a mistake. One of the worst mental prisons you can be in. One of the worst mental prisons you could be in. And I literally just held her hand and told her that it's okay. Daddy's gonna still love you. Mom's gonna still love you. It's okay. You're an adult now. Trust me. They know that they have raised you in the right way. And it's okay to fall. They just might be the ones to pick you up. Let the world see that beautiful smile. You may have something for somebody else. You know, all cases aren't hard cases, but this case was special to me because she had never been on a vacation. All she did was visit the hospital for work. I'll say visit because that was her life. And within 2 weeks, she had ripped down the blinds, took down the curtains, put light bulbs in, and went to Miami. And she hasn't stopped traveling since, man. And I tell you, it just makes me feel so good. She realized that she doesn't need, you know, she's a single woman, and she used to think she had to have, to be fulfilled, she had to have a man in her life. She knows now that she's good enough for self. And if God blesses her with her special person, he will be there. But if not, you strong enough and you good enough to be able to do it on your own because you got a man on your side and he'll never let you down.
Amen. Amen. You just heard it live at the Logan Power Show. I hope that helps anyone who is listening right now, any ladies that was watching, any fellas that was watching, to be a good husband, speaking to my husband, soon to be husbands out there, or husbands right now, to be a good wife or soon to be wives. You got to be whole and know yourself for who you are, know your worth. Ladies, for anything out there, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and attains favor from the Lord. So my thing about it is, if you're doing your thing, if you're walking it tall, if you're looking good, ladies, and you're smelling good, and you in your business, and you and God got a relationship, and you are satisfied with what God's giving you, that's a personal relationship communication, then God will line you up and you be in that right place where that man will see you and say, you know what? I see her. I found my wife. I found the right person. And I promise you, that's the one that I'm going to find. How do I know? Because I met mine in biology class, 3 chairs behind me. I was in the front and she was 3 chairs behind. I looked over. That conversation started with a simple conversation. She didn't like me. I didn't like her. But I wrote we went to another classroom and I wrote my vision of what I wanted. She wrote her vision of what she wanted. And I said to myself, she got some of the traits I want. 3 years of dating, turned into a marriage, 16 years strong and still married to the same woman today. So I tell you, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So we're going to be right back at the quick commercial break. We'll have all our 3 of our guests come on, give it their final thoughts, opinions of what they know, what you need to be successful. And I want you all, because this is watching the Logan Power Show, you keep it locked. We love y'all. I'll be right back at this quick commercial break.
Everybody on the street got the rhythm at their feet. Dance it out, yeah, dance it out. Everybody on the street got the rhythm at their feet. Dance it out, yeah, dance it out. I can see you through the crowd. You got the love to break me down. I'm now
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Logan Power Show. I know you watched us. I know you supported us. Please go to our website today, www.theloganpowershow.us. Donate today. Keep us flowing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, The Logan Power Show. Email us at theloganpowershow@gmail.com. You know, if someone will be a future guest, hey, we love to have you. So we're going to let our guests do one at a time. They're going to talk about their final thoughts. Without first, let's give it again. She is the Miss Empower herself, Miss ShePower, the one and only Miss Kimmy Browne. Ma'am, it's a blessing just to have you back here.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm gonna let you have the floor, get you a minute or so. You talk to those ladies, those ones who are maybe not thinking about launching out to the deep. You are the expert in launching out to the deep. So I want you to tell them what they need to do, and the floor is yours.
All right, ladies, let's sum it up, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. This is what I want you to do, and this is what I want you to hold on to tonight from this interview. No matter what you have gone through, no matter what your story is, no matter what you've been told, I want you to remember this one thing. If you don't remember anything else that I've said tonight, I want you to remember this. Know your worth so no one else can determine your value. Repeat it over and over again and say it to yourself over and over again. Know your worth so no one else can determine your value. There is a difference. And I want you to repeat this, and I want you to know this and remember this part that I told you, because until you know your own worth, you can't be valuable to anyone else. Until you know exactly who you are, whose you are, and what you are, you can't bring any value to anyone else. We have to get ourselves together. So I want you to know that I'm always here to speak to anyone. You can reach out to me. I'm here to help you get to the next step. This is a no judgment zone. I am the Queen of ShePower. I am the self-worth coach. I am Coach Kimmy B, and I'm your sister. I'm the person that's going to listen to you, the confidant, and I want you to know that you can get to wherever you want to go. It's just steps, and I'm the person to help you get through those steps. No matter what's going on, remember what I said earlier, no matter what you've been through, what you're going through, no matter what your story is, we can get it together, and I can help you turn that thing around and work it for your good.
Amen. Amen. Miss Kimmy Browne, we want to thank you again for coming to Logan Power Show, blessing us. And for those that are watching her, definitely want to follow her. She Miss ShePower herself. So Miss Kimmy Browne, we want to definitely keep her here uplifted. Now we want to get also to ourselves. This lady again from the land down under. She has our book, Silent No More, Healing from Workplace Bullying. We want to bring back Miss Elizabeth Gray. Miss Gray, the final thought for yourself. There is a person that may be going through some things you may be talking about, workplace bullying. I want you to speak to them so they can get their help today. You got about a minute or so. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Just wanted people to recognise their own patterns, and if you're suffering from fear and intimidation, this is bullying tactics. So you need to work out why you're afraid of talking up, and what are your boundaries? Are you afraid to say no? Are you afraid to upset people? And this is one of the reasons why we actually often remain being bullied, is to have that power, that we give that power away to the bullies because we're afraid to talk up. And don't be afraid of going and reaching out and get professional help if that's what you need, and to find someone that'll enable you to talk through the issues with you. And there is a better life out there, and don't accept the bullying as normal. It is not normal. You need to be living the life you want, and don't give your power over to anybody else and a bullying. And there are other really good people out there, and remember, you're not alone in this. Usually someone else in your workplace has been through this and going through this as well. So you're not alone, and don't be afraid to talk up because it will free you too.
Well, we want to thank you again, Mrs. Gray, just for blessing us here. Again, for those that are listening right now, Silent No More, Healing from Workplace Bullying. We want to thank you again for blessing us here. You just heard it from our heart, from the land down under, all the way from Australia. She blessed the Logan Power Show, so we know that we're moving. I told y'all, nationwide, worldwide. You want to purchase that book today. And then we get our last person. He brought it home. He said he ain't a life coach, y'all. He's a truth coach. TRUE. True. No, I'm like true. TRUTH. Excuse me. Truth. Tell you the truth, because the truth gonna set you free. I just read it in the Bible. We said John chapter 8, verse 32. We're going to say the truth shall set you free. The one and only Mr. Randy Howe Jr. Sir, we want to thank you again. I'm going to allow you at this time. Not only want you to speak to those who may have not owned their truth, because I know a lot of times people are afraid of the truth. So I want you to be able to speak to them, why they should be getting in contact with you. And the floor is yours. A minute for you to talk about the truth, sir.
I just want people to know that your perspective of your story is important. I need you to look at it through your eyes, because there's some things, small things, that may be hindering you from moving forward. You can't be afraid to hurt feelings. You can't be afraid to realize that sometimes people in your life are just a season. And you're not supposed to carry all the bags with you all the time. Now, one thing I'll tell you, if you fix yourself by breaking a relationship, there's a possibility that relationship can be fixed again. But if you stay broken, you're just broken. And you're not going to be good to anything around you. Not anything around you. If you want to get the most out of each step of your life, start with yourself first and make the best version of yourself that you can. And then you're going to become a better light to those around you. And I just want to leave you with my saying. This is what True Coach Howell tells everybody. And you can find True Coach Randy on the web anywhere. And you'll always see. Don't find comfort in the lies. Instead, seek freedom in the truth.
Amen. You heard it first right here, the Logan Power Show. Again, Mr. Randy G. Howe Jr., the one and only here, the live in the Logan Power Show. We thank you again for blessing us. We know that your truth is going to help out plenty of those out here. So again, let's go through the lineup, ladies and gentlemen. We had Mrs. Kimberly Browne, Miss ShePower herself, entrepreneur, 6 businesses, 2 nonprofit organizations. She's done a lot to help those. She's here to empower the women. Also help those young people who need a help, need a leg up. Definitely want to get in contact with her today. Ms. Elizabeth Gray, get her book, Silent No More, Healing from Workplace Bullying. Again, Mr. Truth Teller himself, the Truth Coach, Mr. Randy Howell Jr. Let's live in our truth. Let's make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard 3 people. Like the Bible says, it's the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. 3 people. Not only have they helping you, they want you to get better. They want you to be empowered. They want you to not be silent no more. And finally, they want you to speak the truth. So that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin Lowe, the Logan Power Show. Nationwide, worldwide, we speak the truth and we speak the gospel of the truth of Jesus Christ. We love y'all and we will see you soon.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.